Do the departed remain conscious of the world of the living? This question, draped in layers of mystery and intrigue, has been the subject of countless debates and discussions throughout the annals of human history. It's a query that tugs at our innate curiosity, that inherent part of us that seeks to understand the world beyond our immediate perception. The question of whether the dead have consciousness of the living world is not a simple one. It's a fascinating intersection of philosophy, religion, and the uncharted territories of human consciousness. It's a question that has been pondered by great minds, from ancient philosophers to modern-day theologians and scientists. And yet, despite centuries of contemplation and debate, we remain without a definitive answer. Why does this question captivate us so? Perhaps it's because it speaks to our deepest, most primal fears and hopes. The fear of oblivion, of a world continuing on without us, versus the hope for continuity, for a consciousness that persists beyond the confines of our physical existence. It's a topic that stirs in us feelings of wonder, curiosity, fear, and hope, all at once. The quest to understand the consciousness of the departed is not merely an intellectual exercise. It's a journey that touches upon fundamental aspects of our existence, our beliefs, our values, and our understanding of life and death. It's a journey that may lead us to question and perhaps even redefine our understanding of what it means to be conscious, to be aware, to be alive. Yet, as we embark on this journey, we must remember that the terrain is vast, and the perspectives are many. The views on this matter range from the religious to the scientific, from the philosophical to the personal. Each perspective offers its own insights, its own interpretations, its own truths. In our exploration of this topic, we'll delve into various perspectives, including biblical passages that suggest a lack of knowledge among the deceased, and examples of souls that seem to have an awareness of earthly events. As we delve into this question, we must remember that perspectives vary and interpretations are vast. The Bible in Ecclesiastes suggests a lack of awareness among the deceased. A haunting line, isn't it? The 9th chapter of Ecclesiastes in particular paints a rather bleak picture of the afterlife. The author, traditionally assumed to be King Solomon, declares in verse 5, "For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten." The language here is stark, suggesting a state of oblivion, a deep sleep from which there is no waking. A sleep devoid of dreams, of thought, of consciousness. It's a passage that has shaped many a theological debate, stirring the pot of controversy with its austere implications. But as with all matters of scripture, interpretation is key. Some argue that Solomon is speaking metaphorically, that his words are a poetic expression of the human condition, not a theological treatise on the afterlife. Others, however, see in his words a literal truth, a declaration that death is the end of consciousness, a final and irrevocable cessation of awareness. It's a complex issue, fraught with ambiguity and open to a myriad of interpretations. After all, the Bible is a living text, a tapestry of stories and wisdom that has been interpreted and reinterpreted across millennia. Its truths are often veiled, its messages layered with meaning and metaphor. In the end, the question of consciousness in death is as much a question of interpretation as it is a question of faith. It's a riddle wrapped in a mystery, a paradox that challenges our deepest held beliefs about life, death, and what lies beyond. While Ecclesiastes may suggest a lack of awareness, other biblical passages tell a different story. The Bible, it seems, is not of one mind on the matter, but that's a discussion for another scene. For now, we leave you with this thought to ponder. What does it mean to be conscious in death? And how does our answer to that question shape our understanding of life? Opening. There are biblical examples of souls that seem to exhibit awareness of earthly events. As we delve deeper into the question of the consciousness of the dead, we find that the Bible presents instances that appear to contradict the notion of obliviousness among the deceased. These examples suggest that the consciousness of the dead may hinge on their spiritual level or state. Consider the story of the rich man and Lazarus in the book of Luke. After their deaths, the rich man, in torment, sees Lazarus in Abraham's bosom, demonstrating a level of awareness of his surroundings and his past life. This narrative seems to challenge the idea of the dead being entirely cut off from the living world. In another instance, the book of Revelation speaks of the souls of martyred saints crying out for justice. They are depicted as conscious, aware of their past sufferings, and eagerly anticipating the final judgment. This portrayal of the deceased suggests a degree of consciousness that extends beyond the grave. The biblical account of Samuel appearing to Saul through the witch of Endor also seems to indicate a level of consciousness after death. Samuel's spirit is presented as cognizant and capable of interacting with the living, further complicating the picture of the afterlife. These examples, along with others present in the Bible, hint at a complexity that challenges our understanding of life, death, and the in-between. They suggest that the consciousness of the dead may not be a one-size-fits-all phenomenon, but rather something that varies, perhaps based on spiritual level or state. Of course, these narratives are open to interpretation, and different schools of thought within Christianity may offer differing views on these passages. Some may see these as literal instances of post-mortem consciousness, while others may view them as metaphoric or symbolic. Closing. These contrasting biblical examples show the complexity of the question of the consciousness of the dead. Beyond the Bible, there are other perspectives and beliefs about the consciousness of the dead. Let's delve into this fascinating realm of thought, shall we? Cultural beliefs, for instance, provide a rich tapestry of ideas on this topic. In some Eastern philosophies, the consciousness of the deceased is thought to persist in a different form, often through the concept of reincarnation. Native American cultures, on the other hand, often revere their ancestors, believing that they maintain a spiritual presence and influence on the living world. Personal experiences too, often referred to as anecdotal evidence, play a significant role in shaping beliefs about the consciousness of the deceased. People from various walks of life report experiences that range from feeling the presence of a departed loved one to full-blown apparitions. These experiences, though subjective and unverifiable, hold deep personal significance for those who experience them. In the realm of science, the question of consciousness after death is met with skepticism and caution. The scientific method requires observable, repeatable evidence, something that is inherently elusive when it comes to matters of the afterlife. Nonetheless, some researchers are exploring the edges of our understanding of consciousness, such as near-death experiences and the study of quantum physics, to bring some empirical light into this shadowy realm. The diversity in beliefs about the consciousness of the deceased is indeed vast. From religious doctrines to cultural traditions, from personal experiences to scientific theories, each viewpoint adds another layer to our understanding, or perhaps our lack thereof. Each perspective is a testament to the human desire to understand what lies beyond the veil of death, a question as old as humanity itself. Yet despite our ceaseless quest for knowledge, the definitive answer to the question of the consciousness of the dead remains elusive. As we've seen, beliefs vary widely, shaped by numerous factors including cultural context, personal experiences, and scientific understanding. Despite the multitude of perspectives, the question of the consciousness of the dead remains a mystery. Our exploration continues as we strive to unravel the enigma that is the human consciousness, in life and beyond. The consciousness of the dead and their awareness of the living world is a complex and intriguing issue. As we've delved into this topic, we've encountered a multitude of perspectives, all of which highlight the complexity of this issue. From biblical passages suggesting the deceased lack knowledge of the living world, to contrasting narratives implying a certain level of awareness, the subject is far from black and white. The book of Ecclesiastes, for example, provides a perspective that leans towards the dead being oblivious to earthly events. Yet other accounts in the Bible narrate instances where souls appear to have an understanding of what's occurring among the living. Such contrasting viewpoints, within the same text, underline the complexity and the paradoxes inherent in this issue. Moreover, the consciousness of the dead may not be a uniform experience. Some interpretations, as we've discussed, suggest that this awareness might depend on the spiritual level of the deceased. This perspective introduces another layer of complexity, implying that the afterlife consciousness is not a one-size-fits-all scenario, but rather a nuanced experience that could vary from soul to soul. This notion of variability brings us to the question of spiritual growth and evolution. Could it be that the consciousness of the deceased evolves over time, gaining more awareness as they progress in their spiritual journey? Or is it a static state, fixed at the moment of death? These questions, while fascinating, add to the labyrinthine nature of the issue. In the end, it's important to remember that our understanding of this subject is, at best, speculative. We are attempting to comprehend a realm that is largely beyond our humanly experiences and understanding. The interpretations and perspectives we've explored are not definitive answers, but rather signposts in the vast, uncharted territory of the afterlife. As we continue to explore this topic, we must remember that the only certainty is the uncertainty of the consciousness of the dead.